I've recently changed my domicile from Ohio to Arizona. I'm an Arizonan again. Yeah, yay. I want to talk about domicile because so many of you ask, and I've got some really important information to let you know about, something to watch out for, and it involves Florida.
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me. No, no, nothing can break me. Try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna take a trip to Mars. Nothing can break me. No, no, nothing can break me.
I'm Minivan Lee, and I've lived in my minivan for 8 years now. Cool, huh? Got the book, 8 Years Living in My Minivan, the Van Life Chronicles, and it's about people I've met, places I've been, funny stories, sad stories, scary stories, love stories, romance, right? So it's on Amazon, it's on sale. So go get it, okay? Paperback and Kindle. Today, I am going to talk about domicile. What is it? What's a mail forwarding address, and how does that work? What's going on with Florida? What's going on with mail forwarding services? And I'm going to talk about the encapsulation of this subject: mail, residence, domicile, mail forwarding, laws, DMV, banking. Oh my gosh. So stay tuned. I've got a lot of information for you. Now, why is this information critical? Because Florida has kind of done a 180 for nomads. And it's something I want to alert you to, because this could affect nomads eventually all over the nation. So stay tuned, stay focused, and watch it all the way through. Oh, and please subscribe. I really appreciate that. Yeah, let's go. Let's get on with the show, shall we? Here's another thing I want to mention. I was alerted a couple months ago before I even found out about this Florida. So that's why I'm kind of curious if this is going to grow. My friend alerted me that he got a letter. A lot of my nomad friends, they use the LTVAs in Quartzsite as their actual address. And in Parker, the DMV in Parker, Arizona, which is close to Quartzsite, was allowing them to use that as an address. And then they were using BCM, which is a mail forwarding company in Quartzsite, as the mailing. And it was all copacetic. I mean, they were letting them do that. Well, I just got word a couple months ago, before I found out about this Florida, that they were giving everybody, alerting them they have 1 year to change that. They can no longer use the LTVA or the BCM as their mailing address or their and their domicile. Oh my gosh. So then I found out a couple weeks ago about this Florida issue, and it made me think, yeah, it could be moving along. The government wants to know who we are as nomads and where we are. So that's why I thought of, if it's imperative that nomads have an actual residence address that gets flagged as a residence, actual, and not a mail forwarding company, that renting a small place together, and if you love this lifestyle so much, that might be one of the only solutions that you could actually use. If you can think of more, let me know. What is domicile? Well, domicile, let me give you the exact so I get it right. Domicile is your permanent legal home, the place you intend to return to after traveling. even if you rarely actually go there. Yeah, I rarely went to Ohio, but it was my domicile. It was my legal residence, okay? Now, let's just imagine that you have homes in Minnesota, Ohio, Arizona. You have maybe 3 homes. Wouldn't that be great, right? You have 3 homes. You cannot use all of them as your legal residence. You need to choose one. And you're probably going to choose the legal residence, whether Minnesota, Ohio, whatever. You're going to choose it over the actual laws of that state. Some states have no income tax, state income tax. Some states do not require you to update your license, reapply. Sometimes, in Arizona, it can be as long as 12 years. I don't know for senior citizens, but I know when I lived here, and I have lived in Arizona previously for 40 years. All my children were born here. I was born and raised in Ohio, but I came in 78. I came to Arizona. So, I've been a resident of Arizona for a very long time, and I did appreciate that I could keep my license without having to run and renew it for 12 years. Ohio was a little bit different. It was every 4 years. But so every state is different, and you want to research what the benefits are for each different state. You have domicile, and you have residence, and you have mailing. Your domicile is where you obey the laws of that region, the state, and sometimes even as far as the county. Okay. Now, your residence is where you are at that moment. Yeah. My residence right now is in Arizona. Well, that's my domicile now. Yay. And then mailing, you could have a P.O. box, one in every single state if you wanted to. If you had the money, you wanted to spend that. But there's really only one major mailing that is the most important, and that's at your domicile. Okay. Because if you are going to get legal papers for that state, you have to be able to get your mailing from your domicile. So you can't just drive around and say, oh, I like this address, and then actually say, well, this is my domicile, and you report it to your bank and blah, blah, blah. And then you can go get your license for that, and that becomes your domicile. But seriously, if you can't get the mail there, it ain't going to work. So here's why everybody needs a domicile. I'm going to list this so you can understand it. For tax purposes, your state income taxes, for your driver's license and your vehicle registration, for your voting rights and your banking and financial services, for insurance, whether it be health, auto, RV, and then you have your legal jurisdictions, your wills and your trust and your legal matters, okay? So the unique challenge of a nomad is the domicile. That's a real issue, and I want to go into why I am alerting you on something very important that happened in Florida. Now, here's the key distinction between your mailing addresses. You've got your domicile, your mailing address, but you can also get a P.O. box number, and you can have a billion of them around. But you have to be able to have your domicile has to be a legal residential mailing address. Now, P.O. boxes. Now, here's why they can't work as your domicile. They are explicitly flagged by the government now as that's a non-residential address, and you may not use that as your domicile. You'll get flagged, and they'll send it right back to you, and they say this is not a legal residence. Here's the great part. What nomads use, most of them, use a domicile mail forwarding business. And what they do is they let you use their residential address. It's not flagged as a commercial residence, okay? And those are around the country. There are some more popular than others. And they do cost money. And I'm not going to go into all that. I will list a few of them in a minute. Okay, here's specifically what Florida did, okay? They have contacted all of the mail forwarding services, and that includes RV parks. They have sent forms to them, and they have to fill them out for all of the people that are staying there. So what they're doing is, if you have a mail forwarding service in Florida, or you're using an RV park address, they're now being flagged. And here's the issue. When you go to get a new license, and you have to get a new license, and your plate registration, on your driver's license, they're now using your license plate as your address on your driver's license. I know, they're not putting down the mail forwarding address. And what's happening right now is that banking institutions, and they've cited a couple of TSA issues, like if you're going on a plane and you need to go through the TSA and they look at your license, you're getting flagged, you're being pulled to the side. In banking institutions, if you're applying for a loan or a new account in a bank, they're flagging you and they're denying them. They're now saying that this is due to the Patriot Act. After 9/11, they want to know where people live. And for some reason, which is unclear to me, why Florida would start doing this, putting your license plate number as your address on your driver's license, and so that you're going to get flagged. It's sort of like taking the nomads and putting them in a different category. Now, I want to emphasize this is only happening in Florida right now, but it could happen all over. And I know that like BLM land, there's certain BLM areas that are being closed off. The size of BLM across on the West Coast is diminishing a little bit. I mean, this creates a definite red flag for nomads. They're being flagged. And I'm not really sure why this is happening in Florida. And so what I'm going to talk about are different areas of the country, are different parts of the country in our nation, the United States, that there are more popular mail forwarding. One is South Dakota, another one is Texas, and another one is in Nevada. And it used to be Florida. I mean, Florida has a very famous, the Escapees, mail forwarding. Now, you don't have to be a member of the Escapees, but if you are a member of that RV club, that you will get a discount on your mail forwarding. And sometimes it can be expensive, but as a nomad, you need to be able to have a domicile and you need to be able to get your mail. And it kind of sucks, that they're going to start flagging them in Florida. So here's where my confusion comes in. I do know that in South Dakota, it is so easy. You can become a resident in one day. They have America's Mailbox in Box Elder, South Dakota. So it's currently a very nomad-friendly policy and state. So the requirements for establishing residency is one night. And you can do it in a cabin. You can do it. They'll give you a list of places you can go. If you don't have a large income, I mean, you could go stay at a campsite and then you bring it back and they'll show you exactly where to go to get your license, your registration, where you can get your car insurance, really good places to get car insurance. And then they'll sign you up for their mail. And it is called America's Mailbox. Now, what are the advantages for nomads? They're like, oh my gosh. But when you do need to renew your license, you do have to go all the way to South Dakota. So sometimes the location can be difficult for nomads because a lot of nomads either reside, a lot of them were in Florida. Maybe that will change. And a lot of them are in Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, or Colorado, Utah. Yeah, so there's a lot of, so to drive all the way up to South Dakota, that might not be a plus for a lot of nomads. But why do they do that? Well, one of the reasons is because South Dakota is a low population state. In order to have good representation for South Dakota, they need residents. So yeah, they welcome people to come in and become residents so they have a greater representation in Washington, D.C. Now, some of the residents, they don't like it because they know that a lot of these nomads don't live there, but they also have the right to vote. So a lot of the nomads, they can vote and they have a say in what goes on in that region and in that county and the state. And they find it to be unfair because the nomads don't even live there, but they have the right to vote. So they actually brought it up on the ballot a couple years ago to stop this. But the people voted for it. They want representation, so they need residents. So if Florida is going to make it harder for nomads to have a domicile in Florida, and they're making it difficult for them and flagging them on their driver's license so that they can't really get a lot of the facilities, and it does flag them for car insurance also, which sucks, that they're going to lose residency. So I don't know why they would do that. They're going to lose some of their constituents in Florida. So I don't know why. And I'm not even going to guess why they're doing it, but they are doing it. And so I want to alert you that this might be an issue going across the nation, because they want to know who people are and where they are. You know, Big Brother kind of thing. Banking institutions automatically are rejecting applications in Florida for that if they're getting flagged. Insurance complications when your ID doesn't match your mailing address. Because if your mailing address is your license plate, then the address doesn't match, and you're going to get flagged on that. Now, credit applications and other financial services. And they do cite that the Patriot Act is being cited as justification for these rejections. Here's why nomads everywhere should pay attention to this. Could other states follow Florida's example? And this signals a shift in how governments might view nomadic lifestyle. So we mentioned South Dakota, but what are for Texas? There's the Escapees mail service, and it's in Livingston, Texas. There's no membership required, but benefits are available if you are a member. And there's also the Texas home base, and that's in Wichita Falls, the traveling mailbox. And right now, they have current level of state cooperation and support from the state. It could change. If Florida's doing it, we'll see. And I'll leave the list of these in comments. I'll pin it, okay? Nevada, in Pahrump, Nevada, there's Dakota Post, there's My RV Mail, and there's the Escapees. Now, the benefits of Nevada residency, you have to be there 30 days, and you have to prove that you've been there for 30 days, okay? And you can go stay at a hotel or an RV park if you have a nice RV. I don't think minivans are allowed in a lot of RV parks. Maybe there's a couple there, I'm not sure. But in order to get residency, you have to prove that you stayed there 30 days. And you could go stay at a hotel, but that can run into money. But in Nevada, there is no state income tax. So that's a real plus. I wanted to alert you to this. It could grow. We don't know. I'll keep you posted. I'll keep alert of this situation here, because it really is a conundrum for nomads. They have to have a domicile. I mean, you have to be able to get a driver's license. You have to be able to have car insurance, car registration, and voting. You have to have these things. And if you do want to get a bank loan, and what's funny too, I thought of this for RVers, actual RVers. I mean, RVs can be expensive. And you know that people who do massive RVing and need that, a lot of them have money. I don't know why they would want to penalize these people. They're bringing money into the state, aren't they? So I hope you enjoyed this. Share this video with your friends, your nomad friends, and your family. It's something to think about. Let's go ahead and look at some solutions to this. Do you have friends or family that you can use? I have family that I can use their address with. And I'm happy to be back in Arizona. Actually, though, you know, it is a little bit more expensive to become a resident of Arizona. Okay, so my insurance is going to go up. I haven't let them know that. But my insurance is going to go up. It's higher in Arizona. I also have to have the emissions, where the county in Ohio where I was, I didn't have to have an emission, so I have to do that. I also have family. If you have a family member that will let you use their address, you know, make it as easy as possible for them. Even maybe pay them like that you would pay a mail forwarding company, you know, to do that. Otherwise, what you're going to need to do is do some research. Okay, I'm going to leave the list of mail forwarding. You know, you might want to try Nevada. You might want to try Texas. I would not go with Florida anymore. Don't do Florida. And I don't know of any mail forwarding in Arizona. If you do, let me know in comments. below. There's another thing too I thought of. If it really does get bad, if it really does, what about, and it becomes essential that you do have you have to have a domicile. What if you have a full group of friends, like a caravan friends, nomad friends, your tribe? What if you all got together in a state of your choice? Might be Nevada, because that makes sense. And you find a really, really cheap, small studio, really cheap. One of you rent it, and then all share. Only one person can rent it. Maybe two, but what you do is that your friends then can help pay for that rent and use the address. The landlord's not going to know who's using that address. They're not going to know. They will not find out that I know of. But as long as there's not a billion people there, they don't care. And then they can use that address, right? That's an option if it is absolutely necessary. Let's say you could find something for maybe $500 and you had a bunch of your nomad friends. They could all share in that rent. There's a solution. Somebody would have to be close enough to go get the mail, okay? But yeah, or actually rent a place really close if you're like near Quartzsite. I hope you enjoyed this. Please share it with your friends and your family and your nomad friends. Yeah. Okay, so please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Now, I also have the book, How to Live in a Minivan, the Minivan Leeway. It is essential for any size of a vehicle to live into. And I've got all the domicile. I've got it's a huge chapter all about domicile, a little bit more. It goes into great detail of what it is and how you need to look at your domicile, okay? So yeah, get that on Amazon. I've got other books too. If you're interested, yes, get them. It does help support me too. But definitely this is an encyclopedia of how to live in a vehicle, okay? So until next time, I love you guys and I really appreciate you. Good things are coming our way, aren't they? They really are. Yeah. Till next time.
Watch the clock ticking off the wall, but tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my one more show. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks. I'm gonna make mistakes.